What's the difference between a vision and a trance? Daniel T. Bourdeau had a chance to see for himself. He watched Ellen White in vision and was given permission to cover her mouth and hold her nose for a full 10 minutes. She suffered no ill effects from it. Then he saw another person in vision. She was in a trance, and he described how she behaved.
On one hand, I saw an individual, that is, Elvira Parker, pale as death, and associated with such as make no difference between the holy and the vile, between light and darkness, with hellish looks, performing in such a manner as to gratify the desires of those who were imbued with the spirit she possessed, and overwhelm the timid and fearful, and create laughter in those of a trifling spirit. On the other hand was presented before me an unassuming and humble person, that is, Ellen White, ardently striving to follow the meek and lowly Jesus, and willing to submit to the judgment of her brethren, who prefer light to darkness, and righteousness to unrighteousness, calmly and quietly raising her eyes toward heaven, while pouring her heart in supplication to the God of heaven. And while the power and spirit of God rested upon those who were with her, she was breathless. Her countenance was bright and heavenly, and none of her actions were indecent and calculated to create laughter or fear. She was wrapped up in a heavenly vision, and had no knowledge of what transpired around her, occasionally moving her hands and uttering a few significant words, to indicate the scenes that passed before her and the things that she heard. On one hand was a spiritualist, Mrs. Parker, purporting to be under the direct influence of the spirit of a dead man, while the Bible says, "The dead know not anything," striking at the very foundation of the Christian religion, and stating that men cannot and should not believe alike, and that a man's heaven or hell is in his own bosom, and that there is no devil, thus fostering all kinds of sin, helping to swell the cry of peace and safety, and binding the wicked in bundles against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. On the other hand was a devoted Christian, Mrs. White, just out of vision, relating what the Lord had revealed unto her, reproving sin and sinners, strengthening and consoling the weak, teaching Christians to love the Bible and live up to the doctrines therein contained, and to come up to the unity of the faith, that they might be strong in the Lord, fight the good fight, escape the wrath of God, and have a home in the kingdom soon to be ushered in.